It's time to take a close-up look at the Kyrie 7 Daybreak, and I warned you this was coming. I said it about 10 days ago, maybe 7 days ago, when I looked at this right here. That's the Kyrie 7 Pale Ivory, and I said, man, has the Kyrie 7 line taken it forward. I'm a big fan, have been a big fan of the Kyries since the 5s, and especially the Akets here, say that in every video about the Kyrie line. But it feels like, I was interested in some of the shoes, there were interesting ways of going about the design and the construction of the shoes, but then with those pale ivories, it was like, you know what? I just realized that I'm looking forward to the next release from the Kyrie line, which I hadn't done before, and I don't do for many different lines. It's kind of rare. It used to be like that with Yeezys, for example. You're like, oh, what's going to come next? But that hype kind of dropped off about 2 years ago and has never really come back. And that's what it's become for me with the Kyrie line. It's like, ooh, I wonder what's going to come next. And those Kyrie 7 Pale Ivories was like, ooh, I wonder what's going to come next. And you know what's coming next is these, the Daybreaks. And I've got a lot to squeeze into this video. I'm going to start right at the top with Beach Life. And there's hopefully I'll be able to chuck up a card or something up here so you can go find that channel. One of the greatest supporters of my channel, and I really appreciate it because, you know, he's into basketball, loves Kyrie Irving. So this is a great shoe. I'm sure he's going to watch this video. Absolutely positive. He'll drop a comment down below. Please don't disappoint me. But a great supporter, great guy, great videos. It makes me a bit homesick because it's all from back home in Blighty, back in the mother country. I'm out here in Tokyo, Japan, where I've been for 22 years. So being able to see back home, even during all these lockdowns and stuff, is a great thing for me to be able to go see that at his channel. I appreciate it very, very much. But enough about that. Into the shoe today. We're going to take a look at it in a couple of very interesting ways. And one of them is to have a quick peek. I'm not going to spend much time on it, but a quick peek at the grade schools and give you guys at home a quick hint for how to tell if it's a grade school or if it's an adult size, because they're very, very similar. The smaller sizes, like the infant ones and the toddler ones and stuff like that, are very, very different. I think they even have a Velcro strap across the ankle, which the bigger sizes don't. But the grade school ones and the adult sizes ones, there's very, very few differences between the two. There's one clever little place to look so you can get that very, very quickly. And on top of that, some great details, some great design, and a great story of a shoe. So with that all being said, let's get into this. Let's race into it as fast as we can. The upcoming release of the Nike Kyrie 7 Daybreak. This is the Tokyo About a 23 Sneaker channel. Tokyo About a 23 Sneaker channel des.毎日アップするので、毎日見てください. Every single day, from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news and sneaker reviews. And I've actually lost count of how many consecutive days we've done this on YouTube, but we're well over 800. We might even snuck into the 900th consecutive day on YouTube without a single day missed. Now that sounds a bit fantastic. How have I managed to do 900 consecutive days on YouTube? And it's not a case of making videos every single day. I front load it sometimes. I'll make 5 or 6 videos and have them all scheduled to release, for example, and then I get to go on holiday, which I did 2 years ago when I went to Guam, but since then things have been pretty quiet on the travel front, and that actually helps me to make the videos and to get this content to you every single day, even on the weekends, 7 days a week, so something to look forward to. And the Kyrie line has been something I've stuck with since the start of the channel. The channel's been around for about 2.5 years, and 2.5 years ago, like I said, those Iket 5s were one of the biggest shoes to come out of the newly crowned Kyrie 5 line, the 4s having preceded them. And then the next year it was the 6s, and now we're on to the 7s, probably not too far away from the 8s. If we're maybe towards the end of the year, we'll get towards the 8s. But and they've really hit their stride. The Kyrie line has really hit the stride with these 7s. There's something about it where the previous 6 iterations have had some great shoes in there, but they just don't have that kind of flow throughout the entire line. But something's going on over there. I really, really feel the Kyrie line have got it together and they've worked it out and they've hit their stride. They know what they're doing. They stay in their lane and they do it really, really nicely. And today's shoe is exactly the kind of shoe that they want to be churning out. And we'll take you through it all. First things first, the difference, and then into some of those hits on the shoe, including that amazing swoosh only on the lateral side. So the big difference right here, this is, I'm going to go with the adult size first. And what you're looking at is those kind of shark's teeth that come up out of the outsole and onto the midsole, and they're just, you know, jagged like regular shark's teeth. And you know what's kind of cool to me is that the very last one as you go back is sort of flattened off. And what it makes me think of is wisdom teeth at the back. People often have their wisdom teeth removed as adults, so they have that sort of flattening off at the back of the their jaw there, and the same thing's happening on these shark's teeth that come up from the outsole onto the midsole. You see the last one, it just sort of it dips down and flattens off. So hopefully, I don't know which side it'll be on, but you're able to see that. You're like, yes, I get what you're saying, Butter, the flattening off of the last shark's tooth in that line, and that's the adult size. And what I'm wanting to bring to your attention is here's the grade school one. You can see that last tooth is much more pronounced and much more up there. The grade school kids still have their wisdom teeth hanging around at the back. They haven't come through yet, and they haven't had them ripped out in an extremely painful process. So when it comes to the grade schools, very quickly, if you want to have a look, and they are awfully similar to the adults, it's that last tooth that's a bit more spiked for the grade schools, and then we flip it back to the adult ones, and you can see it curves a little bit lower and sits a little bit deeper in the shoe, and that's the quick way to tell the difference between the two. And there's another quick way on this shoe, and specifically that's to do with the outsole, so we might as well go with that first, is that the adult size run of the shoe, it has a slightly lighter yellow outsole than the grade school one, which has a sort of deeper yellow to it. It's very subtle difference, but a difference nonetheless. So hopefully what we're looking at on the green screen behind me here is the outsole of these guys, something that I really appreciate in basketball sneakers across the board right now. To me, started with the LeBron 17s, has a beautiful, sleek, skin-like outsole on those guys, and that's kind of spread across many of the basketball sneakers to have outsoles like this. Very, very detailed and very sort of unique between each of the shoes, and the Kyrie line is no different. So great outsole on these guys, but time to get up to that swoosh and the main point of the shoe. And it's very similar between this swoosh and the swoosh of the grade schools, but basically what we've got is two massive points going on. One is the shape and the design element. It's a flame, and always when Nike bring out flame swooshes, I'm super excited. I remember seeing a pair of, there were only 5 of them made. It was a custom store here in Japan, had 5 Air Jordan 1s made, and it was a flaming swoosh on the side. I was just absolutely in love with that shoe. And then it's the same on this guy, but instead of being a solid flaming swoosh, the middle bit is taken away and you've got an outline flaming swoosh. So in terms of structure and design, big yes, but then also, and this is, you know, something that you can choose, and the Kyrie line have chosen to go with flame colors as well. It wouldn't have been too hard to go with some kind of spectrum on the jade scale, because basically what we've got going on this shoe is teal, if you ask me, is what the color of the upper is, and then jade are the hits, especially on the tongue of the insole that we'll get to in a minute. And they could have gone with some kind of spectrum of jade along that swoosh, but still in that sort of fiery style. But instead, they went and were authentic, kept the swoosh in the fiery style, but also added the colouring on there as well. And then it's not too hard to go forward from that and look at two major features on the front half of the shoe. One is you can really see the detailing in the upper. Now, I'm not going to show it to you, but I'll tell you that the grade schools have much less detailing in them. They do look like almost an identical shoe, but when it comes to the upper, this level of detailing is kept just for the adults. And the other thing is that the lowest 2 eyelets on there that hold the laces in place are very chunky on the Kyrie 7 line, and in the case of these ones, it's very simple. Sometimes they add some details in colour and piping and border and stuff like that down there, but in the case of these ones, they've gone with a single solid colour. And then it's not too far to go across from that to the very bottom of the lacing system and see that all-seeing eye, which is a shout out to Egyptian culture and Egyptian history, something that's very important to Kyrie Irving. So that all-seeing eye there. And you know what that makes sense to do now is to go to the very back of the shoe and ask you guys a question with what is this circle, what does it represent? It's basically, it looks a bit like a BMW circle, to be honest. A circle that's cut into 4 quadrants, and each quadrant is like a piece of the pie, a section of the pie. In the case of BMW, that symbol actually is supposed to represent the propeller on airplanes, because that was where they had a major start in business, was with airplanes, and then moved into the automotive industry. But it doesn't look a bit like BMWs except for the colours, and I'm sure it represents something, but I don't know what it is. But I'm sure somebody out there will do us a favour and tell us in the comments down below. Then we might as well go to the medial side, and we'll finish up on the tongues and the insole. So medial side first, very simple looking medial side compared to the lateral side, and very simple looking swoosh compared to the lateral side. Gone is the gradient of fiery colour, and gone is that kind of fiery colour feel, and gone is that sort of popping off 3D effect that you get on the lateral side. It's just a printed single tone, single line swoosh on the medial side, and it's placed on top of some very simple material. So all the definitions on the lateral side and not so much on the medial side. And then the final place to stop is to go up high and have a look at those tongues and those insoles as a oneer, and you'll see on the tongues finally that jade that I was talking about, the jade branding on the teal tongue, and then looking down on the inside you get to see a lot more of that jade and teal effect on the inside. And if I remember rightly, you get a real good sense for the padding around the ankle that shows the kind of support you get if you play ball in these shoes. And I think that's pretty much everything about them to bring to you guys today. Like I said, looking forward to Kyrie 7s now, or anything from the Kyrie line. And again, this shoe keeps it going with that fire swoosh on there. An absolute massive plus, if you ask me. And again, we get to look forward and see what's going to come from the Kyrie line, because now I'm getting excited about these shoes in a way I haven't gotten excited about a line for quite some time. With that being said, though, it's time for me just to wrap us up, finish up the Daybreaks, and hopefully you guys appreciate that out there. And I'll just do what I do at the end of every single video, which is remind you that I do this every single day. And when you do it every single day, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.